Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 16 Quarterfinals. Today, we're looking at Team Gotham taking on Team pvcpipe. With me today is Otto von Bismarck, once again.
Hello.
And these two teams have come quite a long way to get here. I mean, they worked very hard to get onto this bracket, after all. And this is where the joke was supposed to be, but Copless missed his cue. We also got Copless here.
Hello. Yeah. Comedic timing is not my forte.
Yeah. Well, he was supposed to chew me out live from the crappy impression I do of him all the time, but unfortunately, and for last season, always calling him one of those English boys on the White Joel Burt team.
I do not recall this, sir. I would be deeply offended.
Oh yeah, just wait until Otto tells you about the horribly offensive joke I made about you on this week's Cranberry versus oh no,
Roxy.
Roxy. There we go. Cranberry versus Roxy. They had such a standout, remarkable performance in that series that I remembered them. Broodmother, Pit Lord, the Enigma, and the Medusa all banned. Very short order here, which is interesting.
Yeah.
The Broodmother.
This is old patch, yeah? This is old patch.
Yep. This is the new patch came out like 1 day ago, so if they somehow found a way to play the new patch, play 734 on Sunday, then they're breaking into Gabe's laboratory, I guess.
Oh jeez, I'm forgetful.
Witch Doctor coming up, Undying and Spirit Breaker. Match them on the other team. Spirit Breaker, legally, technically a flex, most likely going to be the 4. Putting Slizzy's OD up quite early on the board here.
It's the wrong team for Slizzy.
Oh, you're right. It's the other way around. I guess that's what they call making an assumption. That is interesting. Say most likely for Gotham then. It's an interesting pick because it's a very strong denial. It's one of Slizzy's main heroes, and of course, not the worst guy in the world, even for the 8th pick.
That's one of Gotham's like most played heroes, though. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like his. It might be his first place. If it's not his like second or third.
Yeah, probably Techies and then that.
Sniper, Chug Gun, interesting bans. Not guys you've seen picked or banned a lot during this season, frankly. It was interesting to me, actually, the general lack of Juggernaut that we've seen so far in this season. He's at a very strong pub win rate, and that usually translates to LD2L picks, but it appears that all the Juggernaut players have either left the league or have decided to spend the season picking CM mid and shit like that.
10 seconds.
Yep. Who would do such a thing?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but for the Radiant this game, I think Timber is a good pick so far.
Could be.
Two
Though-
beefy strength heroes.
That also
Yep.
makes that a good old game, though.
Problem is the Timberthaw isn't the biggest fan. Somebody's getting a phone call or something. Timberthaw isn't the biggest fan, particularly, of either of these guys, because both of these guys have something to do about him. Spirit Breaker, if he gets caught in a bad way from Timberthaw, even with the strength steal, is probably not just going to die in mere moments. Can charge away, Timber can't do much. Undying's strength steal, even if the tombstone doesn't really do anything to the guy, the matchup is kind of annoying. You struggle a little bit to kill him because he's just going to be stealing your strength right back. So, can definitely be annoying with those two, but having the big strength steal isn't going to be the worst thing, and if Undying starts to fall behind, which is not the hardest thing to do when you're support Undying after all, then yeah, it can just become food pretty quick if you can't stand up to the heat.
I will say they've also not banned Matt's CK. So they could use a Timber Saw to block a CK pick as well. So that'd be a third strength hero.
The only issue is I don't think Big Boy plays the Timber Thaw, at least not particularly much. Draw Ranger going down here. Rubik coming up. This is a very good-looking Rubik game so far, and it's the Reflesky Rubik, and that's two things that are hard to argue with. Though that does mean we're going to be seeing a Core Spear Breaker, most likely PVC pipe. Therefore, you know with pretty good certainty what the offlane is going to be.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
They have knocked out some of the more annoying heroes for the SB to lane into, but not all of them. Oh, finally! Maniac gets to play Skywrath Mage. Never mind.
This is a really bad Scarif game. He doesn't do anything about the charge.
Yeah, he silences the SB.
10 seconds.
Yeah, but mid-charge it doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help mid-charge, but hey, he can silence the SB at the very least. Prevent things from happening.
Faces Void into Rubik.
Yep, I mean, on one hand, pretty much every time I've seen the Faceless Void into Rubik matchup in LD2L, what actually happens is that Rubik just kills his own team in the Chronosphere. But also, there's been one exception to that rule, like the entire time I've been watching, and that's been Reflesky, so it's a very brave pick. I guess they just picked him because he's on their banner and like the name of their team and everything.
Jeez.
The Skywrath Mage pick, it's definitely going to be a who fires first type of scenario. That much is undoubted. Because on one hand, if these guys get the jump on Skywrath Mage, he's going to die 100% of the time. Viper, it's a little interesting. On the other side of the coin, though, if any of these guys get, or if Skywrath gets the jump on any of these guys, like, so far you've got a grand total of 0 heroes who aren't melee creeps on their, or range creeps for Rubik and Viper's case. You've got a total of 0 heroes so far that aren't basically creeps when they're silenced. So there is that. It's also going to be nice having the magic damage amplification with the OD on your team. Going to particularly make his ult a very, very nasty, threatening, omnipresent thing. But
10 seconds remaining.
that's going to require good initiative on the Gotham team's part, and that's something that sometimes that team has been lacking in recent weeks. I noticed Big Boy LaCroix going last here. Probably
Still
South
not banned
strategy.
the CK.
Team ban.
I think that's Matt's best hero.
Yeah, that's like I played that with CK with Monday and it fucking slapped.
Dire team ban.
They have indeed opted to let it through here. Just completely. Maybe they're going to be picking it last and running it as a pause 3. I actually could do that because Big Boy LaCroix.
Yeah, I used to pick it for Big Boy when I played with him.
He picked it quite a bit in Season 12. I'll be honest enough to say that even when the CK Pause 3 was a thing, I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And it's very not a thing now, but if they want to go for the funniest deny pick they got, that would be it.
And I mean, they need some initiation, like Axe, but Axe is terrible this game. Centaur, who is also terrible this game.
Centaur in this patch is like terrible every game. Centaur is bad in good Centaur games in this patch, so.
It's a
Maybe
really bad
Dark,
faceless
yeah.
void game. I feel like it's such a bad faceless void game. Like that lane is going to be so hard for faceless void.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, my big question is like, you know, what's he gonna do with the chrono? Funnily enough, they did pick a good chrono target for him with the Viper, who is.
Viper's not even that good of a target there.
Well, the thing is
He's
that
got,
he
like,
has
20% magic resist on your bash.
he has no armor, so you don't need the bash. You can basically just right click him to death. Even though he's an
Most
agile
Voids
hero.
build magic there. You go Maelstrom, minus Maelstrom, something like that. So all your damage is your time lock and your Maelstrom procs.
Well, even if you have no damage, you're still going to be able to right click this guy. I promise you, he's a big weenie.
10 seconds
But
remaining.
the problem is like, if you do that, you just drop the Chronosphere on, like, not the pause 1. And you still have annoying things that can pop up for you outside of it. And outside of just godly positioning and the three other guys on this team so far, nothing you can really throw into it. Like, I feel like it is a lot more likely that a Chronosphere gets ruined by Rubik being outside and just telekinesising him during the duration of it, or Undying being outside and just dropping Qs and tombstones, than,
I think this is going to be a Sand King pick. I think.
The other thing is, like, there's so many slows against Faceless Void. Like, that's how you counter Faceless Void. You just slow him. So he leaps and then he's slowed, and it's like, well, what are you going to do now?
Yeah, and on top of that, he leaps and Spear Breaker is still charging him. He does not care about that particular skill.
Yeah.
He leaps, Spirit Breaker still charging him, Viper Strike still affecting him, still missing his strength. Even if he gets his HP back, the decay doesn't undecay. So you do have a lot of things that are going to be able to chase and persist over the Faceless Void Q as well. I do think you can probably engineer scenarios fairly reliably where Faceless Void is in fairly minimal danger with a lineup like this. Tidehunter coming out to finish the job.
That is a really bad pick.
I know, yeah. Literally, you already have the counter picked. Like, the Viper counters Tidehunter really badly.
You've got the
And so
counter
does
pick,
Rubik.
and you've also got a very redundant combo there between the Tidehunter ult and the Chronosphere. And the CK comes out. Great.
Oh no. I much prefer the PVC draft here.
Yeah, there's like... This isn't Gotham's worst draft this season. I can see some of the signs of life and some of the logic decisions made. You know,
I don't see any logic in these decisions.
Like, the issue with the Gotham lineup is they have big cooldowns. So once they're on cooldown, like, the other team has no cooldowns. They're waiting on nothing. They're not waiting Chrono, they're not waiting Ravage, they are fighting.
yeah,
All the time.
the like individual heroes on the Gotham team outside of the Faceless Void and the Tidehunter, which are very redundant compared to each other, if nothing else, at least have great chemistry. You know, the Witch Doctor, the OD, and the Skywrath Mage can make each other kill people in very, very, very short order. It's very easy to squish people with that particular set of goons. Problem is that, like, even though they have individual chemistry, it, like, the team as a whole around them just doesn't look good. It's one of these situations where it's like, you know, pop quiz. When is the Gotham lineup? What time in this game is the Gotham lineup going to be generally stronger than the PVC lineup? And it's kind of hard to think of an answer for that.
Mega late. Like, mega.
Yeah. And to be blunt, I think the longest match this entire season has been 66 minutes. Like, this probably not going to happen. The longest match was like 66 minutes, and that match was not competitive for, like, the last 15, 20 minutes. So, I don't think they're going to be making it to Mega Late.
It wasn't that my game? Did we not play like a 60+ minute game?
Yeah, there's like...
Yeah.
There's like 2 times in the season where we broke the surly bonds of 60 minutes, and in neither case did it go much farther. So rip ho maybe?
Is this some dying AFK?
Yep.
Oh. Well, that's a start.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna turn around, that's the way you do it. If you're gonna turn around from your questionable draft, that's the way to start.
I don't understand. In LD2L, a lot of people seem to rush Wand. I don't get why.
Why did he
Make it
put a
rain.
sentry there? They just like stand next to it, don't even deny the other sentry? He's like, nah.
They
that.
didn't expect it, is the answer.
My support has to come to do that sentry for me, please, thanks.
Sliz,
Oh
why-
my god, they just get a sentry, deny a sentry.
See, that's what they were doing. They were prepping for the 2nd century. My Viper got Nether Toxin level 1. I'll never speak to Slizzy again.
No, I don't mind that this game. Playing against OD, you want to shove it under his tower?
I'll never talk to the man again. I super mind it. You may not, but I super mind it.
Because
Looks like,
Odie is just gonna get easy denies on you if you don't shove it into him.
So fairly uneventful beginning of the lane phase after the ward debacle. So now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the cast, the roll call. For Team Gotham, pause 1, you've got Code Line on the Faceless Void. Pause 2, oh. Also got PVC, trying to go deep against Tristero. I'll take a look at this before we get back to it. Oh my god. He actually has gone down there. Alright, well that's not a bad way for PVC Pipe to start this lane. Pause 2, we've got OD being played by Gotham. Pause 3, we've got Big Boy LaCroix playing the Tide Hunter, somebody, Otto, that you are very unfamiliar with, having never done anything with this man in your life. Pause 4, you've got Space Cowboy on the Skarath Mage, who's kind of likely to get a, no, he is not level 2 yet, so he ain't getting anything done here, baby. And pause 5, you've got Tristero on the Witch Doctor. Meanwhile, on the another guy you have nothing to do with and have never interacted with before. On the other side of the coin, on Team PVC Pipe, pause 1, you've got, oh, Base Cowboy is going to get something done. He's going to die. Let's take a look at the last few moments of his life here. Okay, he just assumes that Pohohoro left and just tried to walk uphill. And he got killed by the impact of a blood grenade. You don't see that very often.
Drag out.
Pause 1, Godlike Matt on the Chaos Knight. Pause 2, you've got Slizzy on the Viper here with a grand total of 0 mana. Pause 3, you've got PVC Pipe on the Spear Breaker, captain of the team, by the way, one of the rare Pause 3 captains. You know, ended up being a bit more common this season after a massive drought of them for years and years and years. Pause 4, you've got Reflusky on the Rubik, who is rotated to mid in an effort to get something done against this Gotham fellow. Sure, kind of likely to get done, especially if you're just kind of going back and forth, but they can't get a vision on him. And so they actually have to let that go, which is very unfortunate. Actually have vision. They dropped a war back there. Oh my god, 26 HP. Both these people now nearly dead. And pause 5, we got Pohohoro on the Undying.
Could you change the last hits denies to items? I want to see how many sticks are in this game.
Well, I can't change it to items, but I can open the the menu here. And the answer is, you've got one on Witch Doctor.
3 minutes into this game.
More, there's more. Like, so, we're in the courier for Reflecty.
Yep.
Oh. Why is everyone like stick in this league? I don't get it.
I mean,
Because that's what the
I'm also a stick enjoyer.
that's what the default guides tell you to build, and that's what the Tortellini guides tell you to build, and that's your
I
answer.
just don't think you should ever start a game with a stick unless you're playing against Bristleback.
In fairness, I do think Skywrath Mage is also a pretty good hero to start out against with the stick. 'Cause he's just gonna be constantly spamming.
His casts generally come from the fog, and you won't get a charge for it.
I don't think that's
Universal
necessarily.
Universal Heroes is really good on.
I don't think there's any in this
Yeah,
game.
also true. I think it's necessarily the case. I think Skywrath, you know, it's one of those situations where it's the ideal scenario for Skywrath to always be casting from fog, but not necessarily the practical one. I think you're most likely going to get a good, healthy amount of stick out of him.
His concussive shot can be 5 from out of range of the stick as well.
Yeah, you can definitely pull the concussion shot from way out of range of the sticks, but like, you probably don't want to just be blasting concussive shot over and over on Skywrath. If you're going to be doing harass, you probably want to be generally doing it with your Q. Just much more efficient. Tristero gonna take a dive here. Getting kind of run over. The prediction that this is going to be a pretty rough lane for these two heroes so far coming to light, with Spirit Breaker holding a pretty decent last hit advantage over Faceless Void, and his poor support having 2 deaths already, which is not helping matters.
What do you think he's going to build? On the Void.
On the
700
Void?
gold.
He's going to build Midas.
Yeah, I was thinking Midas.
And he's probably not actually going to do that. What's on the Tortellini Faceless Void guide? Probably
Probably
male.
someone
Bad
might-
maledict.
Probably
No.
male.
Bad maledict.
Hohoro can pop the stick here, drop Tomb, but they're not going to follow this far enough for that to be to happen. Gonna be very interesting. Tombstone's gonna be at the same time pretty good and pretty bad against this particular lane, because on one hand, neither of these guys can even like kind of think about doing anything about Tombstone even a little bit. But also, Big Boy LaCroix has 3 levels of Kraken Shell, so the zombies are going to be doing literally no damage to him. Like, you can see them just, like, scraping his ankles, doing literally 0. Which is pretty unfortunate if you're Undying. Who, just had his name become very ironic when he dropped a Tombstone on a nearly dead Tidehunter and then proceeded to do literally no damage to the guy. He's also building up a lot on physical damage here, which is pretty smart. The Undying isn't, well, the Undying doesn't have enough levels to do
nearly
much.
has as many last hits as the Faceless Void.
Also true. The Undying does not have, enough levels to do something about that yet, and CK has gone all in on the old Chaos Strike. So as a result, Big Boy LaCroix very tanky so far with the Chainmail, the Ring of Protection, and 3 levels of Kraken Shell. He is going to get even harder to clear out as this lane goes on if you don't see some levels being pumped into, you know, the CKQ and whatnot. PVC going here again. He's level 6. He's actually beaten Void to it by quite a good margin. They're going to try and get rid of him here, but Void's just going to hit Q. He's fine.
Is that the build-up for this boy? Do you max out Time Walk?
If you're in a lane where you're gonna die, yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those lanes, so I cannot blame him too much for doing that. And the answer to what he was going to build was actually Power Treads. Should have considered that. You always see those, the upgraded boots ASAP on the old Tortellini's. Gotham already has his Meteor Hammer.
But is this really a kill lane with 1 level of Time Walk? Don't you just like wait for the charge in the left and then Time Walk it all off and then that's you?
No, because he's not got any regen. So he's going to be using it on cooldown, basically. He's going to rely on the stick charges that he gets every minute. 1 stick charge a minute to refill his mana.
The Eagles, the 2 spells.
The Witch Doctor there, just barely living. There's a smattering of HP. He's going to get out
In
of
fact,
there.
the
What?
Witch Doctor's got more regen than him because he has a Bracer.
Oh my god, Viper tried to do this camp and died. No, he used a salve and dropped a neutral item here. Oh my god. Oh dear. Oh Slizzy. At least
Really
Reflesky gets the item. Reflesky gets the item and immediately pops it himself.
Is under attack.
I'm the mid now.
Yeah, there we go,
The thing
baby.
as well, I think once you pick up your first item or have the first one drop for you, it automatically goes to the stash afterwards. So next time Slizzy gets one, it will just disappear.
Well, it only does that if you actually did pick the item up. It is at least that nice. The, get a good rotation here by the Viper to dissuade this Tidehunter, but they can not stop the TP with the Chaos Bolt on cooldown, unfortunately for them.
Is under attack.
Space Cowboy, by the way, in the middle of that, when he was in just like this really hopeless situation, actually got the neutral creep camp deny, which is something that everyone dreams of, but rarely gets to happen, so... Space Cowboy got it today. Bet he's feeling pretty chuffed. Viper rotating back to mid. He actually, even though he has had some debacles, he actually has maintained a last hit advantage, though he's about half a level down compared to Odin. Actually, like
You should
2/3.
expect that. He's maxed out the Nevertoxin, so he farms really quickly.
Well, comparatively quickly, anyway. Not to have the meteor dropped on his head. Don't think this is probably going to do all that much. Even with just 1 level of the Corrosive Skin, 10% of that damage goes away, and that's quite a lot when you're talking about these kinds of numbers.
Man, the break's actually really good against the OD as well.
Yep.
Didn't even think about that.
Also, this is how you do a meteor hammer combo with OD. Just so
Yeah.
in case you.
Just Slizzy, if you're watching this, that's how you time it.
Yeah.
Radiant structures fortified.
I think in our game, I don't know if you've cast that. Yeah, in fact, you did it live. No, you didn't. You didn't. You
Yeah,
didn't,
I tried to do it live and my internet was dead that day.
But he missed about 12 combos. It was embarrassing to watch.
Oh, you mean you mean like some other Hollywood versus PVC game that happened?
No, it was Luther against
Oh, okay, it was Looter. Looter was the one embarrassing himself, got it.
against Dusty Team.
Yep. Shouts to Looter, friend of the show.
Can we shift to net worth?
Yeah, sure, why not? So far, Tidehunter at the top of it, followed shortly by SB and OD, who are neck and neck.
Dire's courier.
CK
Not
Void
gold in this
following.
game.
And Slizzy is way down there. The Nether Toxin level 4 early thing, as it usually doesn't, is not really panned out here. They're chasing this Skyrath quite a ways through the jungle. Oh, is he gonna get denied out of the melee creeps again? The answer is no. This is a really good title. Goodbye, Viper.
Radiant's courier has been
The Flesky was trying very hard to get the Ravage there, but he only got the Anchor Smash. Gotham is kind of looking pretty dead, though. Okay, this is super bad. Old Tidehunter should have let OD take a fall. Yeah, I think that was what they were trying to do there. It's just that they have a very poor team when it comes to getting out, and Spirit Breaker is on the other team.
Radiant's middle tower is under
They have a team that would kind of struggle with disengage on a good day, and today is not one of those good types of days. Which is a bit unfortunate. Alright, Spear Breaker, charging the most important person in this whole lane. The melee creep.
creep.
Yeah, I know. Justero gonna take a ride to mid here. Spear Breaker's not even gonna roll a 17% chance, just gonna let him leave. And, well, that ain't good.
Sick. Death ward.
It's a very unfortunate scenario, as I mentioned before. Despite being an Agi hero, and despite having that corrosive skin that makes you think in your head that the guy's really tanky, in reality, Viper has some pretty bad armor, some of the lowest you'll see on an Agi hero, and his HP pool isn't great, especially if you're not building anything to expand it. So, very vulnerable to something like a Death Ward on Viper. Good decision making there on Tristero's part. Matt's going for Gotham again.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Gotham, the man who made a team called the Godlike Max in Matt Sarner. That's really, talk about a lack of loyalty. That's an unfortunate reality of the Witch Doctor versus CK matchup right there, as the Coconut just bounces between CK and his Phantasm and just stops him from doing anything more. Gives the Gotham lineup enough time to congregate around here. I'm not really sure why Faceless Void has decided this is the place he must be, with a Chronosphere appearing fairly unlikely and a kill even less so. They're gonna, well, not correctly time the Meteor Hammer there. So Slizzy, if you're watching, don't do that. That's not the timing. Big Boy gonna take this tower up here. They're gonna
He's
call in
dead.
some guys.
Yeah, he's got the break line.
He didn't hit his mech! Oh my god, he made it!
That is surprising.
Tidehunter is building mech and phase boots. Or the Greaves and the phase boots, which is a bit interesting.
We need to see a first item Gleipnir from the Viper.
We're gonna be seeing a first item Gleipnir from the Viper. I don't know what he's gonna be building first. He has 1,000 gold and nothing queued.
I'm not saying we are, I'm saying we need to.
I know, I'm checking and seeing if that's the case.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Odie getting hammered by everything you can imagine here. Witch Doctor ult gets interrupted literally the moment goes out. Well-timed CK ult comes out. The reverse, though, is not quite true, as Rubik quickly picks up the Death Ward, steals it for himself, and then scratches Big Boy LaCroix's back for about 500 damage with it, due to all the armor this guy is packing.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Should be noted, of course, damage block does not interact with ward type units, but Big Boy's got 1,000,000 armor and 1,000,000 HP, so he don't care. Code Line with
This
the
is
most
probably the
ambitious
worst
chronosphere.
It was
That-
just a little bit like that.
That is not even close to the worst chrono I've ever seen, unfortunately.
I don't know. He
Well,
hit
you-
the-
I don't-
the
I don't
CK
know.
Like 3 times.
I don't know if you were in the season where Healy's played Faceless Void and got a chronosphere that got everybody on his own team and none of the enemies, and they all died.
I'll be back in one moment. I have 2 cats fighting.
Bonk. Peter Hammer gets 2 here, but Gotham may be the next to fall.
Yeah.
Big Boy
It's
LaCroix.
taking 5 man. Like Coppers was saying at the start, the 5 man, you just can't stop it as the Radiant.
Big Boy LaCroix walking into this really probably wishing he hadn't. Or maybe he doesn't care. I don't... He's just kind of waiting on the ult there, but there's like no possible way follow-up comes out, so... A lot of awkward spells here, a lot of things just completely whiffed. Faceless Void did get a minus after all.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
PVC Pipe is still going to make good here. Charged right through the enemy team on the Spirit Breaker. They just can't kill this big boy character. They can easily kill Code Line, who sticks around. And then PVC Pipe dies of a maledict. That's very sad. The PVC Pipe dies of a maledict because he didn't have his Pipe of Insight off Courier. He just got it when he died. Very sad. Pipe of Insight is going to be a very annoying thing for this. Oh, that's sad. For this Radiant lineup to deal with, as until Faceless Void gets online, they have one source of physical damage on the entire team, basically, and that's the Witch Doctor Death Ward. It's marked as pure for some reason on the tooltip. I don't believe that to be true. Oh no! Wait, no, it is.
now.
It is now, but it was not true when this game happened. It was a gigantic stack that nobody on this team is really well suited to take. Really great Nether Toxin at play there, you know. All the creeps stay in the Nether Toxin for the maximum possible duration and take 16 damage as a result. Really, just the best farming skill there is, especially with the shard queued up here. As the poison attack magic resistance reduction, which is going to actually be really nasty on this lineup, as it's going to allow some of these otherwise fairly weedy and anemic magic damage sources to come out strong, and going to make any stolen Skywrath skill or OD skill really nasty. Shielder in here. Gotham takes it, puts himself in jail to avoid the initial charge. They're actually not convinced to go all in on it. They drop a Skywrath ult on the Viper. Doesn't actually really do much of anything. Yep, good chrono. Bad ult from Gotham, though. Yep. Ravage comes out, and the ultimate result of the Ravage is that one man dies, unfortunately. Oh, wait, no, 2 die. Unfortunately, it's both members of the Radiant. 3 die. Yeah, these guys just can't kill anybody at this point.
Just not enough damage. Like,
Yep. Even through, even with what was pretty inarguably, like, a very good go from the Radiant, outside of the fact that the OD ult did literally 5 damage, but what is inarguably a very good go for the Radiant there, where they got a very strong Death Ward, they got a good Chrono, they got a really good Ravage, and it did not matter at all because the damage gap is so bad that even with all of that going for them, they still couldn't actually kill anybody on this very tanky team. It's not something I've really considered until this fight, but it is like, you know, there's really one guy on this team that's like a really easy kill, and that's the Rubik. Everybody else, it's like, okay, you're chewing through 10 pounds of meat getting through Spear Breaker, and he has a pipe as well, which isn't going to help. You have the corrosive skin on Viper, which isn't going to do anything for fizz damage, but luckily these guys do know fizz damage, so that's fine for him. Goodbye, Witch Doctor. Very ambitious ult. Is actually going to get 2 kills. Space Cowboy, though, looking very dead. 2 for 3 trade.
Healing stacks.
Is under attack.
And yep, now these guys get to do. Now these guys get to very slowly do this ancient camp.
I don't know, the CK takes it pretty quick now.
Yeah, if he's got his ult, he'll take them pretty quick.
I honestly feel like the Radiant should just call it at this point.
Damn, it's a
Yeah,
bracket, bro. You don't
Best
call
of
him
three,
bracket.
go next.
Radiant's top tower.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
really
gonna
hard.
cause suffering.
I mean, at this point, like you're like, wait, how do we stall it to like 50 minutes until this Faceless Void gets like 6 items?
Yeah, pretty
They
much.
can't do, because they just have too many useless heroes. Like the
Yeah.
Scarab Mage does nothing.
The there is a realistic way to just put this off in that I feel like this team is not well equipped to do anything about Tidehunter just sitting up lanes with Ags and spitting on them over and over to deep push.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
problem
yeah.
is he's not getting that.
They're
So
break. Like he's not tanky at all in break.
well, the problem is he's not tanky at all on break, but the break also has to get to the Tidehunter. He doesn't necessarily need to let that happen to just spit on the waves over and over. Has quite a long casting range on that, well into fog. Slizzy's actually gonna get cut down here. A lot falls on his head to make it happen. The ult comes out from Big Boy LaCroix, but unfortunately for him, the Spear Breaker was in the middle of a bulldoze, so he just gets out of it instantly and just keeps the pressure going. Skyrat, the OD's gonna fall. Witch Doctor soon to follow.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
It's not looking great,
fortified.
to say the least.
Nope. Nope.
You know, even the hypothetical situation that I propose where it's like, you know, you could, at the very least, you know, just like, have Tide sit by, you know, a tower's length away, right? Just spit on the creep waves. Well, he doesn't have Ags, he's not building it, he's going for Shiva's Guard, which, you know, in fairness, is a very good item here. It's just that by the time that it's going to come out, this game's already going to have been decided. Poor Spirit Breaker. No, he's fine, he just ate the whole thing with a pipe, never mind. Space Cowboy, deny it! Deny it! No! Alright, Faceless Void just randomly died somewhere.
Tower has fallen.
Oh boy.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
He's got 1200 health at 22 minutes against this CK, who's doing 500 crits.
Yep. Against CK, who's also got 3 times his HP pool and 2 times his net worth. Faceless Void, not really appreciably much higher than the support line, but then nobody else on his team is either, so there's that.
Radiant's bottom tower.
At least Big Boy got the deny in the tower. And just let Sliz come in and eat it. Radiant trying to get at least some money here. Just playing in the only part of the map that's relevant at all in this patch. Not the 3-3, but 3-4. Skyrath Mage just gonna get hammered, just gonna fall down instantly. You know, if you recall, the thing I said at the top of it was like, if Skyrath Mage gets the jump, he's in a good spot. If he doesn't get the jump, he's gonna die in every single fight. And so far, he really kind of has yet to get the jump, like, once. God!
Oh,
Radiant structure.
No, we're gonna watch that again. We're gonna watch that again, because I'm a little worried that, that somebody might miss this. So he chronospheres and then he hits the CK illusion.
Radiant's
Once he
Oh.
doesn't do any damage, he's like, yeah, this is taking a lot of damage, it must be doing one.
Oh dear. Oh dear. It's very sad. Just the more time goes on, the more I just feel like it's like you just didn't need and didn't want the Faceless Void this game if you're going to go for the Tide as the last pick. Because Big Boy did fine. I mean, he ain't looking so good right now, but Big Boy came out of lane phase, top net worth in the entire server, and, you in that 10 to 15 minute range was the only person on his team seeing success. You didn't need somebody on his team to be doing exactly what he did but worse. You wanted somebody who had some more reliable, some more consistent day-to-day gameplay, and you just did not see that coming out here. Spirit Breaker has his bongo boots, which is always fun.
Yeah, the Rubik's pretty farmed compared to the rest of the team.
Yeah. Rubik has now surpassed everybody on the Radiant.
To be fair, the Rubik's almost the same net worth as his mid-hero.
Even now, they're still actually having quite a bit of trouble killing Big Boy LaCroix. Even in the break, they still actually just couldn't get rid of him. Lusky gonna get a little hammered here. Goes to OD jail briefly, but he's gonna be fine. Just walks out with like 92 HP, and now Matt's here. This time he is without any cooldowns or without anybody on his team ready to do anything about this. He is gonna go down in mere seconds. Tower's gonna get hammered.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is falling.
Okay.
What?
Chrono's coming up soon. The turnaround's coming.
He's just gonna chrono the CK illusions again.
What do you mean he's gonna chrono the CK illusions? He doesn't even have it.
8 seconds. It's coming, it's coming.
Are fortified.
Gonna watch while the rest of his team dies.
Radiant's top barracks.
Nope, never mind. Big Boy getting away with it again. Chronos everybody and goes for the Spirit Breaker instead of somebody he can actually kill. Good Ravage coming out here. He's actually gonna get rid of Matt. For what I believe is the first time this entire game. Yep.
2200 gold. Oh.
Lizzie falls down following him. Diaz just leave base. Slightly unfortunate because I don't think that exchange made the game any more winnable for the Radiant. But now they have to play for another 10-15 minutes. Undying just finished up the Guardian Greaves. What do you think is going through Matt's head right about now?
I think it's that meme where he's listening to that song and like not barely got his hands on the keyboard.
Yeah, probably something weird in French.
And the other team's super try hard trying to get back into it. I think he could play the rest of the game without his hands on the keyboard on the CK.
Yeah, he's even after the massive like turnaround in gold there, even after the massive donation, OD is still sitting under the Undying. Like that's where we're at this point.
Radiant are scanning.
Radiant have successfully made a scan out that the Dire are in Roche, though it will be very impossible, as they say, to do anything about that. I was trying to think of a nicer way to word that, but none came to mind. There's no way they're contesting that, not at this point. It's kind of a Christmas miracle they've made it this far, really.
Yeah, I don't know how they ever repel this push coming.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The most perfect all the ults ever. They just need like a Witch Doctor ult and a Chrono Ravage. That's the only way they want to like.
Code line getting charged, PVC decides maybe not. There's actually a bluff there. There's nobody sitting behind Void, so if he actually finished that charge, Void was dead as hell.
Is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Creeps are pushing up. Dire's bot T1.
Radiant's middle tower
Big Boy LaCroix gonna get hammered over here.
is under attack.
With all these defensive items, though, again, they're actually really badly struggling to kill the guy. This is a hypothetically good chrono, I guess, but nobody on his team's like ready for it at all. So even the one guy they actually got, Reflesky, is just going to be living.
Line's really good at landing chronos, but just the rest of the hero he needs to work on.
Well, I mean, he's good at landing Chrono, except that one at the start of the game. I mean, the real...
He's got a lot of good ones.
Yeah, that's true. He has definitely had very good Chronospheres this game. I mean, the real problem is, like, the last Chronosphere in that just came out at a time when OD was neither capable nor interested of actually throwing any damage into it, and Code Line is so far behind, he just can't not have that, right? So OD was just beefing with Viper to the south of him, and did actually get the guy, which is good if you're sitting here at the bottom of the charts, but it's not going to make the Chronosphere any more successful, and it's not going to make Gotham live anymore.
Radiant's top barracks are under attack. Radiant's top barracks has fallen.
Tide Hunter just walks up to the enemy team to die. Big Boy LaCroix no longer interested in continuing this game.
Oh, Matt agrees with Reese.
What, just call it.
No, he says you let this through, as in the CK.
Code
Yeah,
Line
I mean,
falls
it
down
was
once
pretty
again.
stupid. It's literally his best hero.
His Phoenix is pretty good too, I think.
Yeah, on pause one, this is definitely his best hero. There's definitely like a lot of pause threes he has way better than this.
Radiant's bottom barracks are under
Like, I would put his Enigma over this. I would not say it's like particularly close, for example. Goodbye, Rubik. Never mind. They really. Oh no, goodbye indeed. Reflesky dies for once. The once in a blue
I
moon
just
scenario,
feel
so they
like the
actually
last
died.
12 minutes have been a waste of time. Like, they were losing, and they lost. And they
All
couldn't do
5
anything
heroes
about
in
it.
Dire have more net worth than the top hero on
Yep.
Radiant.
It is now just a linear goal advantage favoring Dire.
And
Chaos
double
Knight has a
check
hard.
and sorted it wrongly.
And don't worry, whenever I do that, it annoys me because I don't know what the hotkey to make that happen is, and I just fiddle around trying to get it back. It's almost always some weird fat finger. Oh, you gotta really feel bad in this game.
Sure, this is it. Listen. Stop.
Whoa, huge chrono.
A huge chrono, and also Void was stunned the entire duration of it. And Reflesky just chronos him back! And then they call the G's. And we're going home. I mean, it's a funny comparison, really, because it feels like this.
Did they call GG?
Yeah, they did. I guess they're going to allow the Ancient to fall.
Big GG.
No.
You were no match. It's a funny, some of the little ironies in life, really. That it felt like the gameplay coming out of the Radiant really just felt like a direct reflection of their draft, where it's like, you know, there's the most basic signs of life. You can tell what some of the ideas were. There is the occasional good one. But when it all came together as just one collective package, it just really did not come out well. In particular, having the Tidehunter and the Faceless Void was just like massively bad for them, because it really just meant they were relying on Gotham and the supports to actually do the damage in the fights. Witch Doctor's ult was pretty consistently either getting interrupted or he was getting killed before he got anything done, which is not surprising when you're facing a team with a Spear Breaker and a CK on it, as Witch Doctor. The OD just never had any money and was just kind of made of plastic during fights. And the Skyrath Mage really was almost more of a supplemental hero that was there to boost the damage that other people did not actually turn out to do. I think if you, and I think the Tidehunter is the better idea. I think if you stick Code Line, like, you know, just stick him on somebody else who's very simple. Like, you know, if you don't have the CK, and the reality where you ban the CK even though Sniper kind of hates facing the Spearbreaker, like, stick him on that. Like, yeah, that's probably not going to go the best, but it will probably go better
That
than
would
what
be
they went
even
with.
worse. CK and Spirit Breaker.
Well, that's what I
just
said, ban out the
sniper.
CK. I think if you let the Spearbreaker through, you're still going to be miserable, but you're not going to go 0-7-4. You know?
Just
know.
something that does
You-
damage without items would probably be a good idea.
Yeah, like, you can actually do something into a Ravage rather than the Ravage comes out and no damage goes into it. Like, that's what you really got to look for in a situation like this. Something like that.
Yeah.
Either way,
You're useful.
we'll see if they're able to turn this around next time